We're back with another Covrprice weekly top 10, and some people are grasping at straws on the spec. We'll see where the rumors are playing out. We'll look at some hot books. Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hey there, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. Like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Follow us on other socials, Instagram, Bronzeville_comics, whatnot, Bronzeville_comics. You know the deal. Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. We have sales on Whatnot. There's a link in the description of this video. If you're not yet on Whatnot, you can sign on with that link, and you'll get $10 off your first purchase, regardless of who it's with. Also, in the description of this video is a link to my eBay store as well as my email. So, let's dive into the top 10 list, weekly Covrprice. There's some old books, some new books, and some, I don't know what books. Let's take a look. Jumping right into it. At number 10 on our list is Marvel Superhero Secret Wars number 8, The Origin of the Black Symbiote Costume. Now, some people are pointing to the fact that this is the first appearance of, or I'm sorry, the second appearance of Julia Carpenter as Spider-Woman, but I don't believe that has anything to do with the value of this book. It's sort of like the Chameleon's first appearance has nothing to do with the value of Amazing Spider-Man number 1. Just so happens it's his first appearance. It doesn't matter. This is all about the black suit, the Zek cover, and the fact that this is a hugely popular miniseries. Let's jump into the Go Collect data. We're going to look at, we have this in book, 24,000 universal copies, 22% of them in a 9.8. 9.9 sold earlier this year for 12 grand. In 2019, a 10.0 sold for 14 grand. Imagine getting back your CGC box on a book like this. You got a 9.9 or a 10. So, interestingly, with this book, it was a $200+ book, $300 before the pandemic, and then boom, it jumped up to $800+. But it's maintained its value. I mean, it's been, you know, as we go into $700 in 2022, and as we got into 2023, still over $700, and now it's kind of settling. It was in the 500s. The last few sales are all $600. I also think people are getting excited about the idea of Secret Wars coming up in the horizon for the MCU. This will always be a key. So I think, you know, you can get a raw copy. You're going to have to probably, for a decent one, pay well over $100. Very popular book. You know, as we said, the 9.8s in the $600 range. But interestingly, like here, find copies FMV of 150, find copies less in graded condition. So I think people who want mid grades aren't necessarily chasing slabs for this book. They want to read the book. And then there are people who also 12-issue miniseries. It's possible to get all 9.8s on that book. So I think there are collectors that are looking to do that. Let's go to number 9. And number 9 is interesting because there's nothing that's popping about this book. This is Avengers number 181 from 1979. It's the first appearance of Scott Lang. Not him as Enth Man yet. And it's a book you can get in high, you know, decent condition for I mean, all over the place. These prices, $100 for a near mint, 9.8 north of 300. And let's look at the trend on this. I'll also look at 1,700 copies in the 9.8, only 12.7% of them, or 1,700 copies on the census, only 12.7 in the 9.8. And this is a 1979 book. 70s harder than 80s. And this book, you know, a lot of this is related to Enth Man news, movies, trailers, etc. It's always been strong. And it does have that awesome George Perez cover. Jumped up during the pandemic to 600, then dove back down, jumped back up. It's very erratic. Even earlier this year, up to a sale of 650. It's about half of that right now. So again, it's a perennial key. And Paul Rudd is hanging around. I think we're going to see more of him in the MCU. So I think it's going to hold its value. And this might be making the list just because people are looking to get a copy. More people buying it now that the movie is well within the rearview mirror. Okay, let's go to number 8 on the list, and it is Marvel Superhero Secret Wars #1. Great Mike Zeck cover. High grade copies in the $20+ range. 9/8s in the $250. But look, you really need a 9/8 of this book. 9/6s under $100. There is what they call the Blue Galactus Error variant. And they are coming out with a facsimile of this, has been pre-ordered. And we also have that new series, Battle World, Marvel Superhero Secret Wars Battle World, which I guess expands on the storyline. I haven't read it yet. But the Blue Galactus is not worth really any more than the regular. And you see, a 9.8 did sell for $400, maybe a little bit more. But if you have it slabbed, you're not going to know one way or the other. Let's take a look at the numbers here. 7,300 copies on the blue labels and 1,500 in a 9/8. That's 21% of the run. So again, the book, it jumped up a lot during the pandemic, all the way from like about a $150 book to about a $700 book. And it maintained that for a lot of the pandemic. But look at this here. April 2023, a $579 sale, boom, down to $222 a couple months ago. And it's, a couple of recent sales have been a little bit better than that, but we're settling in the $250 range for a 9/8. Secret Wars is coming up. We have no idea how that's going to play out. I don't think the storyline will be much like this particular iteration of it, but I think it'll still continue to have this book be a significant key, and it always has been. Let's go to number 7 on the list, and it's Uncanny XMen number 239. This is the second appearance of Mr. Sinister and his first cover appearance. It's also the first cover appearance of Madeline Pryor, the Goblin Queen. About a $20 book plus in high grade, and 120 and 9/6, 170, 180 and a 9/8. Let's look at the historical data here. Only 939 universal copies. A quarter of them are 9/8s. There are a ton of raw copies out there. This was Marvel's I think their most popular selling title at the time. We're talking about 1988. And there are a lot of high grades out there. So, and look at here, right? We're talking about a $100 book, boom, spiked to $660. That's insane. And still was holding during the pandemic $300-$400 prices. And then look what happens here. It's still $200 earlier this year, and it has really taken a tumble. Now, it's long been rumored that Mr. Sinister is going to be the villain in the reboot or the continuation of the X-Men 97 animated series on Disney Plus. There have been recent rumors that Goblin Queen is going to be an antagonist with him. So you get both of them in their first cover appearances. The better book for Mr. Sinister is his first appearance. It's a great cover, but not a great cover of him. And that's Uncanny X-Men 221. Now, let's go to number 6 on the list. Is that where we're at? Yeah. Number 6 on the list is Godzilla #1 from 1977. I believe that this was, I don't know if it was based on, but it was popularized by a Saturday morning cartoon. Now, this is #1 of a series. It's not the first appearance of Godzilla. His first appearance in comic books is, what is Godzilla's first appearance? Godzilla. And Godzuki. Life with Archie #41. Yeah. I don't know what that looks like. And then Monster Madness #2. Movie stills. Godzilla versus Megalon. 4-page promotional comic giveaway given in theaters. And then this one. And there's also a 35-cent price variant. if we look at this in a 9.8, and there are 3,000 copies, 20% in a 9.8, which is pretty impressive for a book from 1977. And we can see kind of, it was $150, $200 book, and then boom, comic boom, up to $700, held a lot of that value through mid 2022, and then it dropped down, but it's still, I mean, like a $400+ book. I just came back from seeing the movie Godzilla -1 from Toho Studios. It is fantastic. I love the movie. It's kind of a prequel to the first Godzilla film, Gojira, and it's in Japanese with English subtitles. If you're at all a Godzilla fan, go see the movie. It is a blast. It is so well done, and it's been getting so much positive notice. Add my name to that list. The 3 guys I saw it with, we all loved it. It was fun, and it was there was depth to it. It was a what if Akira Kurosawa directed a Godzilla film, because it has a lot of the storytelling about the humans, which is most of the storytelling, because there's only so much you can do with Godzilla, is the kind of life in post-World War II Japan. It doesn't go heavily because the characters are not from either Hiroshima or Nagasaki. It doesn't go into the nuclear bombing aspect of it, but that is a subtext, because that is a subtext. That's how Godzilla was created. He was an outgrowth of the reaction in Japan and in the national consciousness to the atomic bombs that were dropped in 1945. He is an atomic irradiated character. And I love the movie. I've enjoyed the recent Godzilla Kong universe movies. They've been good. This was fantastic. Fantastic. Probably the best Godzilla film ever. I'm going to go on record as saying that. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I highly recommend it. Number 5 on the list. I'm not going to highly recommend this. I don't know what this is. It's Enth Man, number 11. There is a kind of woman on a surfboard, and there's a Galactus Herald. I don't know. This is people who are grasping at straws on spec. It's a dollar bin fodder book. I guess somebody got one for $11. Maybe if you find one in a dollar bin for $1, $1 in a dream. And I'm going to link this. Again, this is a book. I don't have too much else to say about it, but we're going to link it to number 4 on the list, Hercules, Twilight of a God, number 1, the first appearance of Juno, who later becomes a female Silver Surfer in issue number 4 of this series. This book has been trending up into about the $20 range for high grade books. And it's a book from 2010. So most of the books tend to be in fairly high grade. My theory on this, I don't think we're going to see a female Silver Surfer. There have been rumors, and people are putting pieces together. Rumors of a female Herald. Could be Frankie Ray, right? Could be something different. I don't think that the MCU is going to go with a female Silver Surfer. But I think what happened is people were putting, remember the Mila Kunis thing rumors. I think what happened is it became a big story on social media because people were like, oh no, they're going to make a female Silver Surfer. And all the negativity around that concept just fueled the idea, and people are specking on it. I'm not. If you are, have fun. I spec on other silly stuff. So, I can't judge, but, I'll spec on my Shade of the Changing Man and Ambush Bug. Thank you very much. I'll stay to that. Because it's stuff I'm familiar with. I'm not really familiar with the storyline anyway. So let's move to number 3 on the list. And it is Spider-Man 2099, number 1. First full appearance of Miguel O'Hara. $25-ish for a high grade book. CGC 9.8s are in just north of 100. And I kind of have a theory about this. And it's this. So there are 9,000 copies on the census. 38% of them in a 9.8. And this is a book, and you look at it, you know it's a 9.8 or not. It becomes pretty clear. Let's take a look at the trend, right? And it was, under $100 for a long time. These 2099 series people weren't really into it. Then post-credit sequence of the first Spider-Verse film, it pops up, goes only up to about $200 during the boom, and has held that value because Miguel O'Hara has become more and more popular with his appearance in the most recent Spider-Verse film, and we're going to get him back. So a couple of lower sales. I think what's happening is this cover price list measures the number of sales, not the record-breaking sales or anything like that. So I think people are saying, okay, the movie's passed us enough. Let's go get our copies of this book as the prices have come down. Number 2 on the list is the only recent book, and it's Miles Morales' Spider-Man. Number 12, this 1 in 25 ratio variant by David Baldeon. It is from last week. Near mint copies going for about $40. It is a pretty cool negative space cover, and it's leading into a new storyline for Miles, but I don't think that's really driving it because the cover A doesn't have any value. I think it's just a cover buy, and it's the odd cover that people are looking at. People love Miles. People love negative space. We'll see how the values of this hold up. Obviously, no slabs because it just came out. And you can see the cover A and the cover B are basically cover price. So, we're last issue before Gang War. I think that might have a smidgen to do with it, but I think people just like the cover. One word of advice: if you go into an LCS, you might see the variants on the shelves, but you might have to ask them if they have any last week's variants. So they sometimes they'll keep the variants separate from all the other new books. So don't be afraid to ask. Worst they can do is say, no, we don't have any. And let's go to numero uno on the list. It's Spawn number 1. Todd McFarlane, first full appearance of Spawn from 1992. You can $20+ get you a high grade copy. Somebody paid $50. And the 9.8s are in the $130, $140 range. Let's take a look. This is a book that has 24,000 copies on the census in a Universal Blue Label, another 7,000 signature series, and 46% of those and 58% of the signatures are who restored this book, and how are there 3.9? I don't know. I'm not going to worry about that. 46% of the Universals get a 9.8, so there's a lot of these out there, a lot of 9.8s. This did jump up during the comic boom. There's perennially news about a Spawn film, but we haven't really seen anything other than talk concerning that. It jumped up over 250 and has kind of been on a steady downslide. And I think this book, like Spider-Man 2099, is a book that people are figuring, okay, it's low enough. I don't think it's going to go much lower. Let me grab a copy. That's what I think is going on here when we talk about the volume of sales. So there is our cover price top 10 for the week. And if we, do they have, I just want to take a look. You can check all this out over at Covrprice. And the 10 runners up, Mystique cover, Doctor Who. We just had the Doctor Who anniversary special last couple of weeks. Another Black Canary variant. And Spider-Man Vulture's Prey. Why is that on the list? Ghost variant Doctor Who. The 60th anniversary of David Tennant came out. Green Arrow number 6, 1 in 25. Captain Marvel 2, another recent variant. This one is interesting to me due to scarcity. I mean, a high grade copy of this is hard to find. I have a couple of copies of it. Fantastic 478, just a really cool Kirby cover. Lethal Protector 1, first Deadpool, first Gambit, first Frankie Ray. Some of the usual suspects. So there you have it for that top 10 list from Covrprice. Let me know what you think of these books. How many do you have? How many do you want? Do you want to grab like some lady Silver Surfer keys. I don't know. So take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.